Good morning, this is Send 7, World News in 7 minutes. I'm Stephen Devincenzi. Today is Wednesday, the 3rd of April, 2024. Starting in Asia today, Israel has taken responsibility for an airstrike which killed charity workers from the organisation World Central Kitchen on Monday, as well as Palestinian aid workers. 3 British, 1 Polish, 1 Australian and 1 Canadian-American citizens were also killed when their aid convoy was hit by an Israeli missile in central Gaza. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has recognised the strike and called it tragic and unintended. Israeli military spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said that the Israeli army is committed to international law.
Last night, an incident took place in Gaza that resulted in the tragic death of World Central Kitchen employees as they fulfilled their vital mission of bringing food to people in need. As a professional military committed to international law, we are committed to examining our operations thoroughly and transparently.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said that the death of an Australian aid worker was completely unacceptable.
This is a human tragedy that should never have occurred, that is completely unacceptable, and Australia will seek full and proper accountability, as you would expect, for how this could have occurred.
British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said that there were too many civilian deaths in Gaza and that a humanitarian pause was needed.
Our view is long-standing that Israel has both the intention and the ability to comply with international humanitarian law. I've made that very clear to Prime Minister Netanyahu. Whenever I've spoken to him, there have been too many civilian deaths in Gaza. Of course, we want to see an immediate humanitarian pause so that we can get the hostages out and more aid into the region.
Iran has promised revenge after 11 people, including a senior commander of the Revolutionary Guard, were killed in a missile strike on the Iranian consulate in Syria. Iran and Syria have blamed Israel for the attack. Iranian Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdullahian said that the attack violated diplomatic norms and international treaties. On Friday, Israeli strikes in Syria killed members of Hezbollah and Syrian soldiers, according to the UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. In Japan, everyone will be called Sato in 500 years, according to a university study. Professor Hiroshi Yoshida is encouraging a change in the law to allow married people to maintain different surnames. Yoshida's model showed that if current marriage trends continue, then the current most common surname, Sato, will be everyone's surname by the year 2531. Europe. In Turkiye, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said that his AK party will make changes after coming second in local elections this weekend. The CHP party won the most votes, especially winning in big cities like Istanbul and Ankara. Also in Turkiye, a fire in Istanbul has killed at least 29 people. The fire broke out in a nightclub, which was closed for renovations, and spread to residential parts of the building. In Finland, a shooting at a school has left 1 child dead and 2 others seriously injured. A 12-year-old boy has been arrested, and all of the victims are also 12. Ukrainian drones have hit Russia's 3rd largest oil refinery and a factory used for making Shahed drones that Russia often uses to attack Ukraine. These attacks were probably Ukraine's longest distance attack into Russia ever, hitting targets in the Tatarstan region, 1,100 kilometers from Ukraine, more than the distance between Berlin and Istanbul. Ukraine has recently hit many Russian oil refineries, apparently in an attempt to damage Russia's oil revenue. Yesterday, Volker Turk, the United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights, said that since Russia invaded Ukraine 2 years ago, 10,500 civilian deaths have been documented and verified, although the real number is expected to be much higher. Africa. In Senegal, Bassirou Diomaye Faye has been sworn in as president. He is the youngest president that Senegal has had, aged 44. In Kenya, doctors are striking over pay and a lack of trainee doctors. The doctors are also demanding pay from a 2017 agreement that they say hasn't been paid. Americas. In Venezuela, popular YouTuber Oscar Alejandro Perez has been arrested, with his family saying that he has been accused of terrorism. The Venezuelan government has been accused of making political arrests recently, before elections expected for July. In the United States, ships have started to leave the port of Baltimore 1 week after the Scott Key Bridge collapsed after being hit by a container ship. Most of the collapsed bridge and the ship Dali have not yet been moved. And also in the United States, Google Podcasts will stop working today and is expected to stop working in other countries very soon. If you still use Google Podcasts to listen to Send 7, please find a new app. Most people listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. However, we are also on all other podcast apps like my favourite, Podcast Guru. And this is the 1000th episode of Send 7. The podcast has been running since April 2020 and has been downloaded almost 6 million times. A big thank you to everyone who listens, and an extra big thank you to all our supporters, including our new supporters Axel in Germany, Apo in Austria, and Mirna in Indonesia. If you would like to help to support this podcast and have access to the transcripts that we write every day and our weekly news quiz, you can become a supporter at send7.org. I'm Stephen Devincenzi. Tomorrow you will be with Ben Mallet. Have a great day.